Hey, Pepin.
Yo, Steve.
I've been thinking about breakup stories lately and dating stories in general.
Really? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I have some people who want to call into the show. They're big fans, and I think we should have them on.
Yeah, we need them to talk.
We have a second guest here. Really glad we can have her on. Jen, how's it going, Jen?
It is just fantastic. How are you today?
I'm actually really great. Had a headache, took some Tylenol, so we're good now. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Actually, I know about you pretty well. Tell our listeners.
And Pepin.
Hi, Pepin.
Hey.
My name is Jen. I guess for the purposes of this podcast, I was from Maine. I've moved to Florida. I've lived in Jersey. I've lived in Arkansas. I lived in London. And for a period of time, I was a serial Meet Me and Tinder dater, since pickings are kind of slim when you move around a lot. And I also have no filter, so it was good fun. It was good fun for me.
Well, no filter is perfect for our show. We talk about a lot of inappropriate things, but I'm definitely excited to have you on here today. And the topic that we've been going on is either awkward dating stories or breakup stories. And, you mentioned Meet Me and Tinder. Those are both dating apps. Is that accurate?
Yes, they're fantastic. And if you can't hear the sarcasm in my voice, then I could do it better, but
I appreciate the bookend on that.
So what exactly is the difference between Meet Me and Tinder? I've heard Tinder's really good for hookups, but I don't know much about Meet Me.
they're almost essentially the same. Meet Me is kind of like, you can technically use them both for friends or for hookups or for dates, but Meet Me is like, do you want to meet this person or would you be interested in meeting this person? And you can message anyone, regardless of whether you quote-unquote match with each other, which is whether you say you want to meet each other mutually. So you can message anyone, no matter what.
I imagine that leads to the creep department being pretty full up for you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even when I think I had a picture as an experiment that was just me in like a turtleneck sweater and my face, and I had no other pictures, and it was still like, I would like to see what you look like without that sweater on. And I was like, okie dokie.
Well, to be fair, you are a very pretty girl, so...
Oh, stop it, you.
But, I don't think I've ever gone that far to be like, I want to see what you look like without that turtle on.
Right? My other sweater is a straitjacket, so...
I feel like that's the one you should normally be in.
So do you still want to meet or nah?
Well, for a lot of people, that would make them want to meet you more.
Especially after the Suicide Squad movie. Seriously, everybody's like, I want a batshit crazy chick. Yeah, until she bites your dick off.
What's wrong with that?
You want your dick bitten off?
I don't know. I mean, if it's good enough.
To all the ladies out there, if you know how to bite dicks off real good, Nate's looking.
Whatever floats your goat, man.
So speaking of goats, do you have a good story about one of these awkward dates?
I thought you were going to ask for a story about a goat, and I actually do have one of those, but it's wrestling related, not date related. But
let's start with the dates, and we can work our way into wrestling a goat.
Okay, so
maybe they'll intersect somewhere.
Oh God, let's see. Well, okay, the first one I ever went on, the first date, and I don't really do dates. It was always just kind of like a meet, hang out some more. Hey, I like you kind of thing. So. My mom's super paranoid, and when I talked about the whole online dating thing with her, she's like, you're gonna meet a serial killer, you're gonna get raped, you're gonna die, it's gonna end terribly. So, I had a really positive outlook going into this.
And just to be clear, this is the first online dating you've done, or are we talking about dating in general?
The first online dating, definitely. I mean, I've been on dates before, but never blind dates like this, where I hadn't met the person.
So yeah, just like with friends or people you meet at work.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
So this one was the first one. His profile was like pretty generic. It wasn't nothing stood out to me really. And I was like, oh, this guy's a freak, or this guy's awesome. But he seemed really laid back and he liked video games. So I was like, okay, cool. So, mind you, for all of these occasions, I was getting free dinner and free beer. And I know that makes me sound like a terrible person, but at the same time, I am not gonna, like, go for a walk around a deserted lake where I could potentially be murdered or mugged or raped or something. So, restaurant, bar, good idea. It was a good idea.
Scale of 1 to 10, how hot was he?
This first guy, he was about before the beer or after the beer?
Oh, well, when you agreed to meet up with him?
He was about a 7, I would say. I usually don't go for under a 6.
Fair enough. You go out to a restaurant, there's alcohol involved. Please, go on.
It's always a place I work, mind you, so my coworkers can watch, and if shit gets really awkward, I can just be like, hey, I gotta go help with this thing because we're busy. So I always had a bailout plan. And this was definitely, I hit the eject button real fucking fast. Because one of my opening lines, aside from, if you're a fruit, what kind of a fruit would you be? Because that's a really fucking good question.
Kumquat.
Why, though? Why? And don't say just because you like it or because you like the way kumquat sounds or because it has cum in it. Like, me, good reason.
Because it has cum in it, like me.
Oh my god, that's a terrible reason. Well, I mean, me sometimes too, but you don't hear me saying I want to be a kumquat.
So what kind of fruit do you want to be?
I would be a coconut because every year they kill more people than sharks. Also because they have a hard exterior and a sweet interior.
Now, is it really fair to spring a question like that when you have this planned, thought-out answer that you've thought of before on somebody who's never thought about it and expect them to have a quick answer that has deep meaning?
Well, I mean, they don't have to answer me in 5 seconds. I expect them to take some time to think about it. But I mean, if the first thing out of their mouth is apple, why? Because I like them. Then I'm going to be like, oh, wow, you have zero imagination. Get out of my face. They got to at least put a little thought into it.
So I will come back with an answer at the end of the podcast.
Great.
I'm going to think hard about this.
So you asked him about fruit, and then you said there was a second question, and this is where shit started to swing.
Yes, the follow-up, I guess, statement it would be, and obviously 9 out of 10 people with a brain would not take this question seriously. I was like, so what's your life story? Big fucking mistake with Captain Literal, okay? Big mistake. So he's like, we're going to have to order another beer. And I was like, okie dokie. Don't have to tell me twice. And then I thought he was reading me lyrics to a Jason Aldean song or something because that's how it sounded. And it was really laid back. I'm serious. Mind you, this is in Arkansas. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. This is in Arkansas. So Jason Aldean song, he's like, well, I was raised in a small town just outside of Conway, which was where we were, which is kind of like a city. And in the middle of nowhere, went to a small high school. I know everybody. And then it was like, I got married when I was 18. I got this girl pregnant. I had known her forever. And we had a get together. And then she started cheating on me with my best friend. And then I confronted my best friend about it, and she told me she was leaving me for him, and she was taking the baby, and then the baby became him, and literally continued to tell me, like, all these terrible things that had happened to him while I'm sipping my beer, just staring.
Was the baby his?
He said we got there eventually. He's like, started making me question if the baby was mine. She took my dog, and then they repossessed my truck, and then I got in trouble for mind you, now he's telling me that I got in trouble because they caught me with dope, but it wasn't my dope, and I was like, okie dokie, buddy. And he was like, and then, I mean, I started using, but then I went to rehab for a while, and I'm in a really good place right now, and I just hope you don't judge me for it. And I'm sitting here, and I swear, my beer has been empty for about 5 minutes, but I am still desperately sucking on the straw.
Okay, so the second thing he says to you after talking casually about fruit is literally the most horrible things that have happened in his life in succession, chronologically.
Yes, it's like when you go to a party and that drunk girl is crying and tells you all these awful things, and you're just sitting there like fidgeting with yourself, looking for all the windows and doors and methods of escape you could possibly use. That was me.
That sounds like a pretty devastating date. So you got out of there pretty quick, or did you continue to test the waters and see how far you could delve into this story.
Hit the eject button. I mean, he was also one of those people that never lets you talk, and I like to talk, but at the same time, I can take turns. This guy just did not want to take turns ever, to the point where, like, I would ask him a question, like, pretending to be genuinely interested, because, I mean, in a way, it was like a car crash. I felt bad, like, ogling at it, but I couldn't look away at that point, so I was like, yeah, what happened next? For a little while. But, he would just, like, ignore all my questions. And I was like, well, that's no fun. I want to find out, like, what the results of the paternity tests were. Like, who's the dad? Come on. Come on.
Jerry,
I mean,
Jerry.
This is practically my kid now because I know so much about him. Like, pay me some fucking alimony.
Okay.
So, I was like, I went out back, and this is one of my escape methods. I went out back and I went to my manager. I was like, yo, bombing right now, really bad. I'm just going to stand back here for a couple minutes and get my shit together. So she was like, okay. So I stood back there and I came out and I was like, hey, my manager just asked me if I could come in early for a shift. So I think we're going to have to kind of end our evening prematurely. And he was like, oh, okay. And we did the whole call me, and I was like, okay. And then I never did. And you know.
Okay. So I mean that's definitely a train wreck there.
That was just my first one ever.
Your first online dating experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Your app-based dating.
Yep.
Was that outcome surprising at all based off his profile, or was it like, oh god, I could have never known?
That was actually one of the ones that I didn't really see coming. I don't know. A lot of the times you can tell if a guy's going to be like a douche or something, where like you sit down, he's like, oh, you're fatter than you look in your pictures online. Okay, well, your dick is probably smaller than it looks like in your pictures online, so shut your mouth. But he didn't really seem like one of those dudes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it didn't sound like he was necessarily a douche either. He was just kind of
No, not at all.
self-involved.
It was just one of those things that you couldn't tell that was going to be like, I didn't know he was actually going to tell me like a Maury Povich episode's worth of his life story on the first date.
Now, one thing I do want to point out is if you're going on these dates at work, while it does give you a good excuse, does it not also somewhat hinder the date because you have that excuse, you have that ability to eject at any time, so it doesn't really give the date a full chance to fill out? What if the last half of the date was outstanding and the first half was just rocky because he's a mess at meeting people?
That's really true. I have given that a little bit of thought, but I'm impulsive as it is.
Fair.
And I can't really say that even... There have been times when we have gone out to other places. There was another time when we went to a different place, and then he was driving me home, and he was like, yo, I gotta make a stop real quick. And he got back in the car with an entire bag of pills, and I was just like, okie dokie.
Well, was he sharing?
Negative. Absolutely not.
Wow, what a whore. I would have dropped that deuce so fast.
I asked him, too. I was like, did you just pick up a freezer bag full of drugs? It was like, yeah, I hope you don't. And I was just like, word. Do you? Like, I should have known that your job at Arby's did not pay for those brand new Nikes, my boy. Like, I should have known.
Rolling in those sweet Arby's bucks.
Absolutely not. I love when people say they're grinding and then like you see employed at McDonald's. Bro, the only thing you're grinding me is an Egg McMuffin.
On that Arby's grind. You want roast beef with this cheddar?
Taking pictures with their money, even though you know, yo, bro, that's $600. That's your rent. Stop.
You're like, yo, bro, you ripped that out the cash machine. Let's...
You are about to go lose that money on your living expenses. Oh my goodness.
The Arby's cash register is looking stacked today.
Oh god, dude, seriously.
No offense to anybody who works at Arby's. It is hard to be on the grind out there, but
I've done my time at fast food places.
Don't be fronting. So, Arby's was a bust. Maury Povich was a bust. Do you have anything else? I mean, it sounds like they were.
I could go all night. Okay, that sounded weird. Phrasing.
Do you have any particularly horrifying breakup stories that would be good for me to exploit on my podcast?
Breakup stories. Yes. I guess it was more traumatic, I think, than anything else. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy is batshit crazy. I dated this dude for like 9 months. And this one isn't very funny. It's just kind of like, holy shit. Dated this dude for 9 months, and my car had broken down. So when he broke up with me, I had no way to come back and get my stuff. And he was like, I give you 8 hours to come pick up your shit. And I was like, okay, I'll try my best. But I worked 7 out of 8 of those hours, and I don't have a car, so I don't know how I'm going to come back and get my stuff. So mind you, we had a fish tank. We had like a 75-gallon fish tank. It had like a bunch of random things in it, fish and like a turtle and stuff. I come back, and not only has this crazy motherfucker cut the heads off of, okay, I love My Little Pony. I'm just going to say that right now. Judge me. Do it.
Judging. Go on.
He's cut the heads off all of my Little Ponies with one of those, like, super hot saw things. So cut the heads off all of my ponies and dumped bleach in our fish tank.
What?
I shit you not.
Okay, hold on. Back up. So you're dating for most of a year, and then you guys break up. Explain this breakup to me.
Okay, we broke up 3 times total. The first time was because, oh my God. And okay, I'll get your opinion on this so we can finally settle the score. So obviously we were dating, and there were these girls, and I called them sluts because they were literally sluts. I remember one point I was working at Denny's. One of them comes out of the bathroom drunk as fuck, lifts up, she's not working, she's eating there, lifts up her shirt, shows me her boobs, and she's like, I got my tits pierced in Denny's. Granted, there was only like one table there because it was the middle of the night, but just like lifts her shirt. So girls like that.
Were they nice?
Yes, but that there are lots of nice sluts. There are lots of nice sluts.
Did you take a picture?
Did I what? Take a picture? There are tiny little boobies. I'm sure I have them somewhere in the world.
So there were girls that, and he was hanging out with them. They were his friends. How did he relate to these sluts?
Party acquaintances. But the fact of the matter is, we were dating, and he went and told them that I called them sluts. So I was like, yo, you're my boyfriend. Why would you do that? Like, why would you just go tell these people what I said about them? I told you this.
Sounds like a breach of trust.
And it's not like I went around saying it to everybody. I told it to him. And I was like, why would you do that? And he got pissed and he broke out with me. Can't remember the second reason. Think we were drunk. Blah, blah, blah. Third reason is he is very drunk. And he's like, we get into a fight about something. And he's like, leave. So I left. Okay. And then he texts me at 7 in the morning. And he's like, come back. So I'm like, okay. So I came back. And then he's like, why the fuck did you come back? And I'm like, these text messages right here where you're telling me to come back. And he's like, I didn't want you to come back. I'm done with this. We're over. That was the breakup. Nonsensical. None of it made sense. It was all just an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse. I swear to God. Minus the child pornography. Plus a lot of alcohol.
Was he drunk when he sent you those texts or something?
Probably. He was pretty drunk all the time.
So the breakup was because you came back when he told you to come back?
Yes. Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, I remember the second breakup. This entire relationship didn't make sense. The second breakup was because, okay, we're going to get a little female graphic here.
This is with the same guy to be...
Yes, same guy, but the second breakup.
Just to clarify. Okay.
I told him to go to the store and buy tampons, right? We were dating for like 6 months. They're fucking tampons. Let's be real here, okay? Like, I go buy condoms for yo dick. Why can't you buy me tampons for my vagina? Anyway, so told him to go buy tampons. He freaks out. He freaks out. Like, above average, loses his shit about menses, okay? And I was like, I don't know why you're being such a child. It's a period right now. Like, your mother probably wanted her period, but she ended up with you. How tragic. Ta-da. Freaked out about menses. So yeah, after that, tells me to come back. We break up, go away for a while. He says, come back in 8 hours, get your shit. When I come back, all of my ponies are decapitated, and there's bleach in our fish tank.
That's really screwed up.
Who does that? Off the fucking rocker, this kid.
Somebody who's as unstable as you. You see what I did there?
I don't know about bleach in the fish. I've never done something that bad on a breakup.
No.
Although one time I did hook up with this guy, and I woke up in the morning, and I was just like, oh my God, what have I done? And so I didn't know how to get him out, because he was one of those dudes that just doesn't want to leave. So I looked at him, and I was like, hey, do you like to cuddle after? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I don't. Please leave.
That sounds
That's
effective.
me.
So one important question to ask here is, did the ponies survive?
No, they were beheaded. Would you survive if I cut your head off? I still have like severe psychological trauma over it.
If I was a horse doctor, maybe.
Were they arranged in any sort of pattern, or was this like a willy-nilly type thing?
No! All of my ponies are exactly where they're supposed to be. Please don't get me started on the arrangement of the ponies
First
and the
off-
pony royal court.
First off, you called into this show. Secondly, you
Hey.
brought it up. So please, tell me about Pony Court.
Are we serious here? I think I have 13 rainbow dashes, and they all have to be in equal distance from each other. And I have a bunch of ones that I got from Funko Pop, and I have a lot of those ones that came in the little mystery bags. And I have this really big stuffed rainbow dash that sings when you push its cutie mark. I was freaking out really bad, and Katie comes over and she's like, "Here, take a rainbow dash," and it sings, right? So she pushed the button and it started singing, and everything was right with the world.
That is fucking crazy, Jen.
And that's literally maybe 1/100th of all the talking I can do about the ponies.
So this pony court, it's not like a real court though. It's like just like a walkway, not like a judge and gavel kind of court.
Is this court like a royal court, or like a judicial court?
It's a royal court.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding? God.
No, I'm asking the hard-hitting questions here. I am the Anderson Cooper of this show.
Ponies don't get judged, they get forgiven, and they learned the wrongness of their actions.
Is there pony divorce court?
Of course not. Ponies don't get divorced. They find the loves of their lives and they meet for life and they stay together forever. The end.
Really?
Yes.
Did you know they can always find water?
Ponies can?
Horses, they
Is
can
this
always
a
find water.
joke? I feel like this is a joke that I'm not understanding.
It's a
I'm
little
offended.
throwback for our listeners. I remember one time I was in the stairwell sophomore year of college, and I was really mad. My girlfriend at the time and I had just had quite a spat. I got blackout angry, and I texted her some of the meanest things I've ever said in my life. But then she her mom put a restraining order on me. It was a big thing. But the point I want to get at here is that after that breakup, I was in the stairwell and Jen happened to see me there, and it was 2 a.m. So we went out to my car and turned the heat on because it was fucking freezing. It was like the middle of winter, and we just listened to the Smash Mouth Astro Lounge CD, and just talked at like 2 a.m. randomly. And that's one of my most precious memories from all of college is that one right there. And that was
the best time.
That was a Jen story, and a Smash Mouth story, and I think they go hand in hand.
I think all of you should just go back and listen to that entire album, because if that doesn't truly define the 90s for all of you, it should.
Smash Mouth Astro Lounge is one of the greatest albums of the 90s, hands down.
Absolutely. Yeah, easily.
I have never listened to it.
Well, you will now.
You really need to do that. You need to do that with your life. If I impart one little nugget of wisdom on anyone listening to the show, it's, aside from probably never use Tinder unless you are a female trying to get laid, because dudes really won't have much luck. It's listen to Astro Lounge.
Listen to Astro Lounge to get laid.
Listen to Astro Lounge.
Wait, so I shouldn't use Tinder if I want to get laid?
If you're a dude and you want to get laid and you try to use Tinder and Meet Me, you're really probably not going to have a lot of luck, because the demographic for Tinder and Meet Me is 9 times out of 10, girls are they're on there looking for actual dates and relationships. And 9 times out of 10, dudes, okay, I won't say 9 times out of 10. 6 times out of 10, dudes are on Meet Me and Tinder to fuck. The other 3 times, and yes, I know my math is wrong, hold on. The other 3 times, they're really creepy, absurdly nerdy fat dudes wearing fedoras, taking pictures on old webcams, trying to find an extravagantly attractive girl to date them. And then 1 out of 10 is a dude who wants a relationship.
So hypothetically, what would be the best dating site to go to if you just wanted to fuck and you're a guy?
Probably the corner of Weston, Maine in Portland.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, I mean, is pretty good.
Oh.
We've learned
If you
that.
just want to fuck, I would say just go to a bar and buy a slutty-looking chick a bunch of drinks and then be like, yo, let's go back to my place, and then ta-da.
That's kind of date rapey, though. Get her drunk and just like, hey, come on.
It needs to be in that range where she can still consent.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm not telling you to go date rape someone. Christ.
Jen, you're a really bad influence on Nathan.
I am a terrible influence on everyone. I don't mean to be.
Final story. What you got for us?
Okay, oh god, final story. Okay, I guess the Ron Jeremy story.
The Ron Jeremy story.
That was a good date.
It sounds like a pretty big story.
Okay, so I was in Florida. I was working for Disney World. And I met this dude. He was one of my coworkers, and he was cute, and he was from Daytona. So one of the days, or one of the weeks that we had a couple days off, he was like, hey, do you want to go to Daytona for a little while and hang out? And I was like, sure, why not? It's fucking Daytona Beach. So we go down to Daytona Beach, drive around, and we're in one of those like super ghetto kind of project-y areas down in Florida that they won't deliver pizza to. And we're listening to the radio, we're driving around, and we hear that Ron Jeremy's going to be at a liquor store. And I was like, holy fucking shit, Ron Jeremy, where's that? And it turns out that it's like maybe 5 miles away. And he's like, I know this place, let's go. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. So we go, and it's relatively, sorry, I forgot to say, it's relatively early in the evening. It's like maybe 6 o'clock.
I just want to be clear. When you say he's going to be at a liquor store, is this like for like a meetup thing or like a greeting, or is he just going to be there to get some beer or something?
Oh, he was promoting, he has a rum out called Ron de Jeremy,
Okay.
which was actually really good. It tasted kind of similar to Captain Morgan's Tattoo, but not as cheap and sleazy.
More salty.
Less salty. More smooth. Yes, very funny. I see what you did there. Plus, it had little mustaches on the bottle, and that was actually pretty awesome.
That's a selling point. So it's 5 miles away, and it's Ron Jeremy. What do you do?
And I'm going, because Ron Jeremy's the man. Also, I was 19 at the time, so there was that. So we go to this thing, and the first thing I see is bitches with nipple pasties on. And I'm just like, okay, this is going to be a good time. This is going to be a great time, because I love Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy's the man. I know so many things about Ron Jeremy.
What do you love about him the most?
Aside from the mustache, or are we counting the mustache? Or
Besides the mustache.
besides the mustache?
That's a given.
He's fucking hilarious, actually. In person, he's really, really funny. And I got him to say pasta bazool, which was also really funny. He's just a really funny guy. He's really personable, really down to earth, not snobbish at all, like super chill and laid back. But we'll get to this.
Also, for any listeners who aren't aware, Ron Jeremy is like a 70s, 80s porn star who is known for having a giant dick.
That is incorrect! Oh my god! He is not known for having a giant dick. He's known for having a slightly... Wait. I am the Ron Jeremy authority.
Okay.
He's known for having an above average size dick. However, what he is most famous for in the pornography industry is being able to come on command.
Oh.
So Ron Jeremy is extremely famous for being in pretty much every porn ever.
That was ever made between the 70s and the 90s, yes.
He's also in Ghostbusters.
Is he really? Oh, yeah, I knew that.
He's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That final scene where he finally explodes.
Don't you naysay Ron Jeremy.
On command.
Don't you do it. He was in one of the Punisher movies, too, also.
That sounds like a porn title. The Punisher.
Get out.
So you go and there's pasties going on. There's girls with tits. What's going on there?
There's nipple pasties. So obviously I'm excited. Plus I'm 19 and they're not carding me going into a liquor store. Mind you, I didn't know how liquor stores worked. I didn't know that they didn't card you as soon as you came in the door. So I thought everything was going great. Everything still went great. So I go in, there's like maybe a 2-person line. There's like no one there. There's no hype. We're, granted, pretty much in the middle of the ghetto. It was very ghetto-y. It was a very ghetto-y liquor store, but hey, Ron Jeremy. So I don't know, I guess I was attractive in a 19-year-old way then, or whatever. So we meet Ron Jeremy, and he's like, hey, girl, here, have a t-shirt. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So I have a t-shirt with Ron Jeremy's face on it that he signed on the boob, mind you. Took a picture with Ron Jeremy. Cool, whatever. He's like, what are you guys doing later? And I looked at Date. Date looked at me. He was like, nothing. Obviously, Ron Jeremy asked if I was a date dude, and I immediately said no. But it was cool because it was Ron Jeremy. And he gives us a phone number. It was not his phone number because I tried calling it like a week later and I didn't get Ron Jeremy. Gives us his phone number and an address. And he's like, hey, we're having a, what's it called? A promotional event at this hotel. If you guys want to come later. It's basically like an open house for a bunch of different people. We're promoting shows, we're promoting material, we're promoting drinks. So basically it was like a little porn party. And I'm like, yeah, let's go to the porn party.
Sounds pretty great.
It was awesome. We go back to the house, we get loaded, we drive to this porn party. It's at one of the not like super nice hotels on Daytona Beach Strip, but I would say maybe like a 3.5 star, 4 star, if you don't really mind the beds being super uncomfortable. But it was on like the top 2 floors. There were nipple pasties everywhere. There were girls carrying like basically vibrator samples and dildo samples around on like trays and shit.
Samples? Like, what do you mean by samples? Like, you like go out back and try them out?
Like
Or...
they got a little toothpick in them, and
Well, they were literally, it was bizarre the way they were portrayed. Is like they were actually on platters, and there were girls walking around in like black silk one pieces with like a dildo on a plate. And they would be like, this is our new model sponsored by blah, blah, blah. And it would have X porn star's name on it. Wow, that was probably the worst example letter I could have used. But they had movies. They had up-and-coming stars.
Did you take one of the dildo
No, you
platter
couldn't
things?
take them. You could, like, fondle them. And
Oh, you'd fondle them. So
Yeah.
it wasn't for you to try. It was just for you to, like, touch.
yes, and it was for you to, like, feel the material and stuff like that. And yeah, it was basically like a big promotional party. So I ended up going to a porn party with this dude, and Ron Jeremy had his rum there. And
And talking to Ron Jeremy, did you talk to him at the party at all? Like,
briefly, there were a lot more people at the party. I don't think there were any like super famous people there because honestly, Ron Jeremy isn't huge anymore. So it wasn't one of those like super swanky, oh my god, famous people only kind of things. I think it was just like a regular promoting material kind of thing. I spoke to him briefly. I was like, hey, thanks for the invite. And he was like, sweet. And then he grabbed my boobie and then sent me on my way. And
that sounds amazing.
that was really, it was pretty awesome. I have pictures of you can take pictures up at the party because this was all stuff that like hadn't been actually released yet. So they didn't allow you to have pictures or anything. But I have a shit ton of pictures from the liquor store and the t-shirt and the rum. I got a free bottle of rum. He didn't even card me at all. I got a free bottle of rum. I was fucking 19 years old, so I thought that was pretty much the best thing that ever happened to me.
that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, I still have the bottle upstairs in my bedroom.
You have some wild stories, Jen. I'm definitely glad. I'm definitely glad you were able to call in today. You know, let's say people wanna hear more of your stories. Is there somewhere they can get at you and follow you on Twitter, or do you have a Tumblr?
I have a Facebook, but that's really about it. I mean, I post funny
Facebook.
shit on there. I need to make a YouTube or a Tumblr. I've been thinking about it lately, but I haven't really gotten around to it yet. You're all on the media thing. Maybe you can help me.
All right, I'll hook you up, and you know, if you get something between now and then, I'll put a link in the description of this episode or something. And if not, then people can fuck off.
Yeah.
There is one more question I really, really need to ask. Nate, what type of fruit would you be?
Yes!
I think I would be an apple.
Oh my god.
And why would you be an apple?
Oh,
Well,
don't make me mad.
Steve, as you know, I am actually a big fan of apples. Back in college, I had a whole drawer full of apples.
You did. You had bags of apples.
Did he really?
Like probably like 30 or 40 apples at a time.
Huh.
You see, at the college we went to, you got them for free with your lunch, and so I just collected them, and I intended to eat them, but never got around.
We never had an apple shortage.
Interesting. Kind of like I collect shitty ex-boyfriends.
It's very similar. Just leave them lying around, and eventually they rot, and you got to throw them out. But at least they
or
were there
bury
for
them
if you
somewhere no one can find them.
exactly, and then they'll grow into a boyfriend tree.
A shitty boyfriend tree.
Well, it is what it is. Some people gotta settle.
I just have to smear cow shit on the ground where I planted the boyfriend apple. Maybe that'll work.
That might help. Help them grow a little bit better.
This is getting very complicated.
So, any last thoughts, Jen?
Just don't use dating apps. They're terrible. Go out and meet people in real life. Go to bars. Get drunk. Be shitty at pool. Do it the real people way. It's more fun that way. Plus, then you can't get catfish.
Your number one advice to our listeners is don't use dating apps.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Jen, as always, it's been a pleasure. I thank you for calling in. Thanks for supporting the show, and I'll talk to you later.
Okie dokie. Have a good one.
You as well. Thanks, Jen.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to be a guest on We Need to Talk? Well, get at us. We're at Twitter at WNTT1. Also, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/We Need to Talk Show. And, it can be scary talking to random people we don't know, but we want to believe that you know us, our intimate details. You know about that time I put that cinder block in front of my room? I mean, I might still have that cinder block. And you know about that time where Steve did that thing? So, get at us at We Need to Talk. And ending today's podcast, we have a song that I wrote a while ago. Meader raps on it, and I think it holds up alright. And hey, enjoy.
Getting called up from friends, feel cool. Think I met him in high school. He's a smoker, a toker. His weed is mediocre, but it's chill, cause man, we'll get so high. Kiss the sky goodbye. Grabbing something weed, cause, I don't wanna be a moocher. Go to his house, a party going on. Smoke a few joints, start singing song. Find some green underneath the sea. Pretty sweet, smoke it as I find the speed. Yeah, I'm a dick. Fritz says, holy crap. That's slave street PCP. PCP, what? Oh, cool crap. I can feel it coming on. Took so nervous from the bomb. Never on this stuff, but I've heard it's pretty rough. Mine is going a mile per inch, it's strictly a cinch. You go mad, how much have I had? Just on Kung Fu, I grips on two. I'm my own petting zoo. Vision's going crazy, logic's feeling hazy. Out from the fridge comes a rap master. How to avoid disaster, you tell me.
I see you've taken PCP, well chill out man, listen to me. I know you freaking, don't be tweaking. Angel dust, you'll soon be peeking. It's chill, be cool, relax man, don't be a fool.
But what if it's scary?
It'll be okay if you chuck Gary down some milk. Drink it fast, it'll keep you safe till this trip's past. Don't take no shit from no one, see you've got invincibility. Just kick their asses one by one, pick up a car, punch out the sun. Have fun, you've won, this day is done. You're like a one-man Gatling gun. You know this shit be tripping you, your mind is racing, flipping too. You're sweating, man, it's dripping. Ooh, it's time to start that stripping, dude. Take off your clothes, it'll be okay. Just do it quick without delay. And all those others better pray your angry side don't come to play. Quick punch that kid, he'll shut his lid. Now kiss a duck, allergic schluck, and something else that you should know. $1 bill, an ice cream hoe. You know the top like it, a not flip flop. Now swap it's like a prop, give it a bop, and then you pop karate chop hip hop. Now stop, up, drop and plop a belly flop, bathing in that red soda pop. Oh, grab that mop shit, I can't stop, quick hit the ground, man, that's a cop.
Jimmy, come on. Gotta pass it. Other people want their hits. Jimmy, he's not even here. Okay. See what he's doing here? It's like, how many times did he pay?
know how gone I am. The dark side of the moon is way too cold. How can I pretend to live? What are the chances of me flipping coin? My thoughts began to think it'd be